The doctor is back in the office, and today we're going to be recapping Movsar Evloev's majority decision win over Lerone Murphy in the O2 Arena in London and the rest of this card. Really, I gotta say, one of the oddest kind of like game planning decisions from Movsar Evloev very early on. Didn't shoot a takedown until that third round. I gotta say, overall for this fight, though, I thought obviously the judging was odd. The first round was really close. You could have given that to Movsar. I think the fucking commentary was so biased in this fight. They were making it seem like Lerone Murphy was dominating on the feet. Lerone Murphy was getting pieced up and bloodied up throughout this fight. So I don't want to hear it. Like, it really was like it was really odd. Don't get me wrong, the game plan for Movsar to not shoot for anything until the third round, but he was doing fine on the feet. I just didn't think it, optically looked great for him. One thing I'll say, after watching this fight, Volk beats either one of these guys. He's going to beat Movsar. Thank God this wasn't a draw, because if it was a draw, John Silva's using his Jewish magic, Jewish dark magic, and getting a title shot. I also thought this fight could be fucking rigged. I thought the UFC had a little behind the closed doors talk with Movsar. It's like, if you don't stand up and, try and punch a little bit on the feet, we're going to cut you and you're not going to get a title shot. So he did that. And he's always been like kind of a decent, semi-intelligent fighter on the feet. Like, he does have a little bit of stuff there. He was mixing some kicks to the body, like trying for head kicks and shit, like spinning elbow. Like, he was trying for shit. It was pretty good. Michael Bisping obviously had fucking money on Lerone Murphy. It was so obvious the way that this guy talks about how Lerone Murphy was such a joke. But I'll say this. Round one was pretty close. I thought Lerone Murphy was maybe a little bit more active, but he felt like he had like no stings to his punches whatsoever. And I could have, I think he might have landed like 2 more strikes there. So if you wanted to give it to Lerone, you could have. I thought it was really weird though, even throughout the first 2 rounds, where like Movsar would have Lerone Murphy backed up to the fence and just wasn't shooting whatsoever. It was really weird. Started to mix in those takedowns again in that third round. There was the first dick kick, which happened in that round, and Movsar won that third round. He rocked him at the end of it. He did more damage, did significantly more damage than Lerone Murphy did throughout the fight. Lerone Murphy really didn't do shit to Movsar. Then we get into the fourth round. Another nut shot. They take a point. At this point, I'm like, he needs a finish, because I kind of figured, maybe they give him the first round. Like, this was before I thought he was gonna win by. I didn't think he was gonna win by decision. I figured maybe they give him the first, but if not, he needs a fucking finisher. Even if he wins the next 2, it's gonna be a draw. But he really turned it up in that fourth round. Fought a lot smarter. Stumbled Lerone with the jab. Took him down multiple times. The one thing I'll give credit to Lerone Murphy, I thought his get-ups were great. I even pointed that out in the last video. I said he is tough to control on the ground, even if I think his takedown defense sucks. He does do a nice job, when getting up to the wall, working his way to the fence. So he is good at that, but Movsar was doing a nice job mixing ground and pound as well. When I think Lerone slipped it on a kick at the end of that round. Movsar went in at a single in the 5th round, hammer fist, took his back, took him down again. I really wish he committed to that game plan for the first, the whole fight, because I think this wouldn't have been close. Lerone Murphy also he popped his hip out in this fight, which compromised him, which kind of sucked. Listen, I thought this was going to be a draw. When I heard 48-46, 48-46, it's like, oh, fuck, they're going to give it to Lerone Murphy. Nope. This is a Movsar won the fight. He's going to be fighting Alexander Volkanovski next for the belt. I don't know. All this fight showed me again is that I'm pretty confident Volk's going to be Movsar, and he would have been Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, I thought it was kind of embarrassing to a degree that you were letting Movsar Evloev piece you up on the feet. Again, he got taken down at, 9 for 10 on takedown. So it was pretty much how the fight went in terms of the 4th and 5th round were very telling of how I figured the whole fight was going to go. It was really just weird how he fought those first 2 rounds. But good win for Movsar. I thought a lot of the outcry, and listen, I'm kind of prisoner of the moment too. I was like, oh fuck, like how could this be 48-46 Movsar? Then you're like, he probably did win the first round. Like, it was really close. I think it is kind of funny that Lerone sort of got robbed in London. I wasn't expecting that. I figured, shit, maybe they rob Movsar and give this to Lerone because it's in London. Who cares? Lerone Murphy really didn't do shit in this fight. He didn't really prove much to me, except that he is tough. But Movsar was better on the feet, better in all the grappling exchanges. The one thing Lerone Murphy did well was, like, he kind of boxed decently and he doesn't get controlled and held down. That's all I could give him. He gets taken down with ease. Good win for Movsar. He's going to be fighting Volk next for the belt. John Silva, buddy, you were this close to getting a title shot if this fight was a fucking draw. Movsar, Volk, do it sometime in the summer. Lerone, maybe you fight like the Aljamain Sterling, Yusuf Zalal winner. Or maybe they give you John Silva, you know what I mean? Who knows? We kind of got to see how he he turns around from this hip injury. But just, again, weird fight for Movsar. Didn't really understand what he was doing the first 2 rounds. But from rounds 3 through 5, he took over this fight. And if not for the nut shot, I think it would have been a pretty clear win for him. Moving on to the co-main event of Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell Jr. Good win for Luke Riley. He didn't really seem too pleased about his performance, but I thought he looked pretty good, with his boxing combinations, mixing up shots of the body. Credit to Michael Aswell. This guy has a fucking chin on himself. He tried to mix in the grappling, especially in the 3rd round, but Luke Riley did a nice job defending on the clinch. Both guys were swinging hard on each other in the pocket throughout this fight. It was just a great scrap. I just think Aswell couldn't really get the wrestling going a ton. So just not, if you can't take down Luke Riley, it's going to be tough to beat him on the feet, especially when you're not like some fucking marauder in terms of striking. Michael Aswell's decent though. Good win for Luke Riley. Some people are saying give him a ranked opponent next. I'm not there just yet with Luke Riley. I do need to see a little bit more from him. Give him somebody outside the top 15 in featherweight who's also a decent name, because Michael Aswell is good, but just give him somebody else who's like a decent name. Moving down the card, I'll give fucking Grant on this one. MVP versus Sam Patterson. Now, I picked Sam Patterson to win this fight. And listen, if you were to tell me MVP was going to win this fight, I wouldn't have been like, wow, that's stunning or anything. You want to fight exactly how you thought he was going to. Dancing around, this was actually the worst of all of them. Though, like, even in the Jared Cannonier fight, in his last fight, like, at least he dropped Jared Cannonier and, like, blitzed it a little bit more consistently into what we normally see from him. He did none of that in this fight. This was so boring. This was one of the worst fights I've ever seen. MVP, just doing his normal, dancing around, fucking popping the jab, blitzing in, throwing through strikes. Sam Patterson would like tag him up a little bit every now and then. Then in round 2, you could tell the ref had said something to these guys, like, you got to get going a little bit more. And MVP's a little bit more action, but just doing nothing. Sam Patterson like tried engaging in the clinch at like the end of some of these rounds. Couldn't really find takedowns. And then MVP has like, and you know what? You knew this fight was bad because Michael Bisping didn't even fucking go in the octagon and bother interviewing MVP. It was that bad. They were getting booed the entire fight. Not a great performance from Sam Patterson. I get it takes 2 to tango, and to a degree, I agree with that take. But this is every MVP fight. He turns every single fighter that he fights into somebody who doesn't want to strike, doesn't want to engage whatsoever. Usually, the average MVP fight is like he wins the first 2 rounds just by going forward more because the optics look good on that, even though he throws like fucking 2 strikes a round. Then in the 3rd round, he just gets like fucking smudged and blobbed on and he loses that. But he wins. He's the classic 29-28. 29-28 decision merchant. I have these fucking losers on this video I made saying Sam Patterson was going to finish MVP. They're like, oh, wow, your predictions are really good. I think I went 10 for 13 on this card. I did pretty fucking good. Sorry that I wanted to bet against MVP for being incredibly fucking boring and just a fucking nuisance. I fucking hate MVP. He's so fucking annoying. Everybody's like, oh, look how elite of a striker he is. Then they show the same three highlights. That one knee from Bellator. The fucking thing where he's wearing a Pokemon, he's throwing a Pokeball. Like, look how cool he is. He's throwing a Pokeball because he knocked this guy out. He's so fucking boring. He doesn't beat and knock out anybody anymore since he's came into the UFC. So boring. I'm tired of acting like this guy is fun to watch. Everybody's like, well, they don't give him these good matchups, so then he just does this in fights. It's like, no, that's not, because if he really wanted to come out here and make a statement to the UFC, he would go out there and fucking knock out Sam Patterson, which I bet he could do. If he really wanted to engage, he could probably knock out Sam Patterson. I'm just being for real. If he didn't want to fight like a fucking bitch the whole fight, he could. And Sam Patterson, he looked like shit in this fight too. At a certain point, if I was fighting MVP and I was Sam Patterson, I would just say, fuck it. Like, who cares about being highlighted anymore? Just go in there and throw caution to the wind, because he is, like, MVP is hittable if you get inside of him. It's just hard to get in on him. And I would like if somebody started, like, trying to chop calf kicks on this guy, because his leg's all the way out there. I get he can, pull back and in pretty fast, because he has great footwork, and he's a great athlete. Like, don't get me wrong. I do think MVP is, has elite distance management, elite he's got great feints. He's got, like, there's great things about his game. but he's just so boring. And then everybody's like, oh, he's a fucking killer, man. I mean, you don't want to be in there with MVP. Yeah, if you want to get 29-28 and get hit twice in the face and maybe he chops a couple kicks at you, then you don't want to. You'd be fine. You wouldn't get. Seriously, I think if you were in a street fight with this guy, he would take you to a 29-28 decision. He is so fucking boring. Fuck MVP. And you know, I would say this even if I picked him. If I just stuck with my gut and didn't want to be different and just picked MVP, I would say the same shit because this is every fight with him. This is what he does every fight. I don't want to hear takes two to tango. He does this every single fight. He's so annoying. Iwo Baradeski, Austin Lane. Iwo literally flicked Austin Lane's chin and it was over. He blitzed in, knocked him out. We all knew that was going to happen. Austin Lane, I don't know why he thought it was a good idea to go down to 205 when he just gets nuked at heavyweight. He's dehydrated now and he's going down to 205. That makes zero sense to me. Roman Dolidze versus CLD. I saw somebody describe CLD as the most boring, exciting fighter of all time, which is definitely true. I mean, he just throws so many dumb spinning shit. Roman Dolidze with one of the, like, how is this guy ranked? It had to be one of the worst, like, kind of performances I've ever seen. Like, and another thing that was funny about this fight, this was the most takedowns Roman Dolidze had landed in a fight since 2021. Like, he was in on a single from like the jump. He put a single leg on the beginning, was kind of smudging him, landed both of his takedowns I think in that first round. Clipped CLD with like a spinning back fist, which was funny. And once he clipped him once, he thought, oh, I could do this the whole fight. Kept trying to spam spinning attacks the whole fight, just kept missing. It was so funny. We just keep slipping, and Ryan Hall maxing just sitting there in guard, like trying to get CLD to fucking engage him. It was so funny. It was really a Ryan Hall tribute the entire time. CLD threw like a fucking flying knee to this guy's back. Like, this was such a goofy fight. I don't know how Roman Dolidze's ranked. Did nothing impressive at the end of the third round. He just literally held him up against the fence, or I think maybe he held him up against the ground and just smudged them. Roman Dolidze, terrible, and he also had the audacity to act shocked that he lost this fight. I mean, he sucks. Roman Dolidze, he's so bad. But CLD, he's going to be ranked now. Roman Dolidze versus Marvin Vettori 3 is the only fight I want to see Roman Dolidze ever in. Again, if I'm not seeing Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze, I don't want to see him ever again in an octagon. I'm just being honest with you. He was fucking that bad. But good win for CLD, I guess, the most boring, exciting fighter of all time. Curtis Pink Panther Campbell versus Danny Silva. Credit Danny Silva. I kind of figured Curtis Campbell's grappling was going to be too much in this. Danny Silva was very comfortable on the feet. Even though Curtis Campbell, I thought early on, was doing a good job avoiding punches, landed a nice takedown, was kind of all over him. But Silva was able to like have a nice reversal, get back up to his feet, landed a massive right on Curtis Campbell in the second round, finished him, dropped him. Curtis Campbell, not that impressed by I was not impressed by your performance. Just not really great. I didn't really like this whatsoever from Curtis Campbell. Good win for Danny Silva, though. He's poor. He was pretty much saying he was broken. He's trying to fight again. Moving on to the prelims, which most of them sucked, except not Alex Jones. Mason Jones versus Axel Sola. Everybody knew this was going to be a banger. And if you're not on the Mason Jones bandwagon, you got to jump on it right now. This guy is electric. Every single fight he is in is so fun. He is literally Robbie Lawler. And immediately from the beginning of the fight, he's on the pressure, landing, and he gets dropped in the first round. Like we all know, he was Charles Oliveira maxing for the rest of the fight because he somehow survives the spinning elbow, which I don't know how he didn't get knocked out. And throughout the rest of the fight, was mixing in the grappling. No, he wasn't really mixing. Why the fuck did I say he was mixing the grappling? He was mixing in the clinch, cut Axel Sola, hurt him along the fence, had some nice scrambles throughout the fight, put a ton of like knees up the middle on Axel Sola's face, was landing spinning elbows of his own. Great combinations, like wobbled him with a head kick twice, I think, in this fight. The ending of this fight was absolutely beautiful, though. He had a couple like kicks to the body while Axel Sola was down, and he was looking at Mark Goddard to make sure that wasn't illegal, and Mark Goddard's like, I didn't say shit. So he was like ripping some kicks to the body while he was standing, which is absolutely nice, or absolutely beautiful, while Axel Sola was down. At the end of the fight, he literally put a Muay Thai knee drill on Axel Sola's face. It was just ripping like 100 knees to Axel Sola's face to end the third round. Great win from this guy. I don't really know what his future is in terms of like, oh, is he going to be a real contender? You know, I don't really know how far he's going to go in the division, but let me tell you something. Every fight that he puts on is fun, and he is fucking good. He literally can do everything inside the octagon. Nathaniel Wood versus Losine Kita. Was kind of a boring fight, and honestly, this performance from Keita made me kind of think that Pitbull could have beaten him, because this fight was a lot of just calf kicks from Nathaniel Wood. He was, oh Jesus, he was working the jab really well. Jesus, hold on. Keita was, throughout this fight was just kind of loading up on big shots, not really landing them. Just ton of nice work from Nathaniel Wood, who was consistently landing his jab, his calf kicks throughout the fight. There was noticeable damage on, I think, like the right eye or left eye of Losine Keita. Just not, yeah, I wasn't really impressed. Like, it was a split decision too, even though I thought this was a clear 29-28, 29-28 Nathaniel Wood. In the third round, again, Keita was just kind of kept loading up on all these big shots, was missing a lot of them. Nathaniel Wood got him to open up a lot more, and whatever. I thought Nathaniel Wood just was landing his jab better, landing more strikes, landing the calf kick. Well, it wasn't really a particularly great fight. Losine Keita, this guy has the nerve to say there's too many, I saw too many decisions in the featherweight division, and then really doesn't put on that great of a performance. I get Nathaniel Wood's tough. It's not taking away from Nathaniel Wood, but Losine Keita, you talk all this big game, and then Nathaniel Wood kind of just outclasses you over 3 rounds and won by split decision. Good win for Nathaniel Wood. Moving on, Mario Pinto versus Felipe Franco. He was just jailed in Almeida maxing. It didn't even really look like he wanted to engage at all with Felipe Franco on the feet. Would kind of just keep shooting for takedowns and holding this dude up against the fence. Felipe Franco, I'll say this, he did a nice job defending the takedowns. Mario Pinto was only 2 for 14 on takedowns, and Pinto was pretty athletic. But Mario Pinto just had like zero urgency throughout this fight. Like, he still won, obviously, but I think he was like, this guy's kind of dangerous. He's got lighter man skill. He's defending my takedowns. Maybe just keep smudging him and I can win this 29-28. And that's what he did. I mean, I wasn't really impressed by it. His stock kind of takes a hit in terms of heavyweight prospects, but nonetheless, good win for him over Felipe Franco. Kind of showed something. Montas Trontovicius versus Antonio Ciccoli. Listen, the fact that both this and the Mario Pinto fight, the fact that both these fights weren't a finish is kind of insane. Credit to Antonio Ciccoli, though. His chin held up. He got brutalized. I don't know how he survived that one sequence where he literally got elbowed so badly in the face in the clinch. He did a nice job trying to kind of just stall a lot in this fight, holding Montas up against the fence. The ref was literally coaching Antonio Ciccoli through this fight, like trying to tell him to move around more on the ground when he was getting repeatedly punched in the face. It was a pretty funny fight. Antonio Ciccoli, I don't know how this guy ever got Mackenzie Dern, or has Mackenzie Dern. Does he even have her anymore? Is she with Brian Ortega? Whoever had Mackenzie Dern, he's terrible. He needs to be cut. Good one for Montas. I think like at the very least for him, we all thought he was going to come in here and just bomb Antonio Ciccoli, which he was so much better than him on the feet and in grappling exchanges too. Even he landed takedowns of his own. But I think sometimes it's good for a prospect to go through a little bit of a ugly fight to at least show their cardio a little bit, at least show like, when, that first round knockout isn't there, how do you respond? And he was solid throughout the fight. Obviously, you'd love for him to get a finish here, but Antonio Ciccoli is terrible. Brando Parachich destroys Louis Sutherland. Big sweet Louis kind of came out, blitzed Brando Parachich early, kind of hurt him a little bit, which was the thing that worried me, because Louis Sutherland I actually don't think is terrible, because he has power and is like kind of decent. But Brando Parachich just, what did he do? Did he fucking, I don't even remember how he fucking finished him. Did he take him down? Did he take him down? He took him down and then like hurt him on the feet, and Louis Sutherland, Anthony Smith Max, and balled up and got finished. That was it, right? And then Brando Parachich said that he was going to give his 100K bonus away to his fans if you subscribe to his YouTube and his Instagram. So go subscribe to that, because I just subscribed to his stuff in the hopes of getting that bonus. Good win for Brando Parachich, an actual solid heavyweight prospect. Shamrock is absolutely terrible. This guy has the nerve to be like, what am I, Patchy Mix? Like in the fucking pre-fight press conferences. He can't box whatsoever. He'll like throw occasional like nice kicks to the body and the head and has like good jiu-jitsu, but he's absolutely terrible. I mean, Abdul Karim El Sawadi fucking sucks. He's not good either. And I didn't really watch a lot of this fight. I only really caught the third round. Shamrock just fought with like zero urgency and really couldn't do anything in the grappling exchanges, like threw nothing whatsoever, was getting pieced up when he was getting pieced up. And then at the end of the fight, he's trying to offer out a hand to Shamrock, to Abdul. And Abdul Sawadi just told him to go fuck himself. And Shamrock tries to start a fight after the fight's already over, which is why he's a bitch and why he's a pussy. And it's also like, why would he shake your hand after you tried to fight him at the fucking weigh-ins? Like, Shamrock sucks. I'm so happy this Paddy Pimblett fucking loser is not going to be around anymore. But, yeah, good win for Abdul. And then I didn't watch this. Chanel Dyer got to finish. Overall, good, kind of a, not a good card. It was kind of mid. Weird main event. Movsar, good win for him. He's going to be fighting Volk next. Lerone, you're going to be fighting down maybe a John Silver, the winner of Aljamain Sterling versus Yusuf Zalal. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. The doctor is signing off.